So they win 7 Oscars. As I was watching, honestly, the low point of the show was the performance from David Byrne for "What a Life." That the song from the original song from Everything Everywhere. And as I was watching that, and I saw him flickering his hot dog fingers, I started to think to myself, is this movie going to age well? Is this Oscar win going to age well? Is this something that's just capturing the moment here and now? Are people going to look at this movie 20 years from 2023 and say, yeah, Everything Everywhere, that's an all-time cinematic masterpiece? Are people going to be saying that, or are they going to say, how the heck did we award this movie with a googly-eyed rock and these off-the-wall, almost immature directors and cast and crew that just I don't know, just like that beat like Tar, just like, which is like, it's like more of the prototypical Oscar movie that we've seen in years past. Are people going to be reflecting on this movie fondly 20 years from now?
That's the key question.
This
I,
win.
I think it really depends as we get more diverse voter base in the Academy. I think Parasite was the real game changer. That winning Best Picture 4 years ago, that was the game changer, saying anything can win. And I think going forward, yes, like we had that Nomadland win, but last year, Coda, another heartfelt, charming type of movie. We look back to last year and like we realize that Coda is not the greatest movie. Like
It's already not aging well, dude.
yeah, so like I think you say 20. I think the real question is like 10. Like 10, maybe even 5. Because like again, a lot of this movie relied on that first time effect. The first time you're watching it, you have no idea what you're walking into. Like me trying to explain this movie to my girlfriend last night, it took me 5 tries. I said at the end of the day, it's a movie about this woman who has a laundromat with her owns a laundromat with her family, immigrant, and she has to also save the universe while also balancing saving her business and family. And
Yeah.
she still couldn't get it. I was just like, I don't know how else you do. You just got to watch it. But then after you watch it that first time and maybe a second time to fully understand it, it kind of loses its edge. And I think as years go on, it's going to lose that edge of saying, huh, that one Best Picture versus like a Tar and a performance like Kate Blanchett, a Fableman's even. Like, I'm not saying that. A better example, I think Top Gun Maverick
Top Gun's going to
will
last.
age.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I think that will age well.
100%.
Like, I think that this won't. No disrespect to it.
It's really weird. The whole movie's very weird, and it's made by some weird guys. Like these directors, when they took the stage, I was almost cringing at some points. Like the ones that so this duo, Daniel Shiner and Daniel Kwan. Like Daniel Kwan's been doing a lot of the campaigning. He's been doing a lot of the Oscar like interviews and things like that. And after watching last night, I see why. I feel like if this other Daniel, right, if Shiner was on these interviews, I feel like they don't win an Oscar because he is a weird cat. When he went, like, I thought he was getting a little too excited when he was going up there. He's like, oh, like it's not weird when you dress in drag as like a little kid. I was like, this is like weird. This is getting weird. Like the movie's weird enough as it is. We got hot dog fingers all over the place. You got this guy saying that's a 4-year-old. He's dressing like a girl, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm just like, dude, like this is not the message we should be sending after you're winning multiple Oscars. I think, and he's like sticking his tongue out, going like, like after he wins.
But like, it goes to
just
who
like,
they are, and
just,
like
yeah,
I think
it's
through
like
the movie, and
but
I think
yeah, but I was
think,
gonna say like Steven Spielberg is on the far right, and you on the far left, you got these guys. It's like how cinema is changing over
right.
time.
That's what I was gonna
It's
say.
crazy.
It's like everything's changing, and like you realize like Steven Spielberg's there, but who's not there? Tom Cruise isn't there. James Cameron's not there. Denzel and Spike Lee are at the Lakers game across the street. It's like, what are we doing? Like, it's because the Oscars, the voting base is changing, the audience is changing, and also the people that are actually making and are in the movies are changing, except the people that won all the awards tonight for the actors and actresses, which is like still to me like so not old Hollywood, but like not giving that award to Blanchett, I think it's like oh, that's great, like as in advancing Hollywood. But like at the end of the day, like Brendan, getting it to Brendan Fraser for just sitting there for like 2 hours, like I don't know. Like looking back on that performance, I don't look fondly of. As much as like an Austin Butler. I rewatched Elvis the other literally yesterday, day of the Oscars, and I was like, yeah, that guy, he absolutely murdered it. Like that's an
Mhm.
Oscar winning performance, and he's not going to get it. And yes, Oscars are known to do that, but it's like we got to change somehow. Look at how everything else is changing that we just talked about, but we're still having these same people win these acting performances. That's what I just. It's very odd. They're not moving in the same direction. They're taking 2 steps forward and 2 steps back in different areas, and it's just not cohesive.
I do think that people are kind of questioning how is everything everywhere all at once? How did it kind of end up dominating the way it did? I think the Academy, in an age of so many like IP type of films, sequels, prequels, spin-offs, they wanted to reward something that was so unique and creative and was so as I said before, different. Like it's just something that we haven't seen. And maybe they were just saying we need to spice things up a little bit. This is like kind of new wave. It's young filmmakers. It's exciting. I think they were like, we don't want to be same old Oscars, and we're not rewarding, right? Like Wakanda Forever or Avatar The Way of Water. They're like, this is something that's standing on its own. It won't have a sequel, most likely. And it just seems like it had staying power. It came out literally last March. We are a year from when this movie released. It has been in the public consciousness, and they kind of gave it props because, I mean, this movie probably didn't have awards aspirations when it came out, but it's just the fact you had so many opportunities to see it over this 12-month period. Eventually they're like, okay, I kind of see why people are talking about it. This is absurd with this bagel. It's absurd with these hot dog fingers, right? But at the same time, like it has so many lovable aspects to it. And I think they just wanted to be a little bit different.
I agree, and I think it's different in itself because like think about this: Coda came out in the summer of 2021, and that kind of built steam towards the end of the year. This one came out in April. Like it was just a year ago. It like I forget what film festival it was at. It was like a year ago last week that it was like premiered at a film festival. So it literally had to go from April to March of this year. And I think what actually helped it was all these awards ceremonies, or sorry, like premieres. Like it was like they were at TIFF, and they showed at TIFF. When the movie theater was the movie was out in theaters. Like it was insane what they were doing, and that was like in the spring of last year. They were A24. This is the greatest Oscar campaign of all time. How they were able to withstand this for 11 months, and this cast, how they were able to be everywhere, like not like be everywhere. Either is Daniel Kwan, Ke Huy Kwan, Michelle Yeoh, Stephanie Sue, Jamie Lee Curtis. They were everywhere campaigning for 11 months. It is the greatest campaign ever. I'm shocked. And I'm not shocked they won everything, but I'm shocked. Like you go back 6 months ago, will I say they were able to withstand it? No, of course not. No one's ever done it, but they did it now. Now, can they go again? I don't know. Like as in like A24. I don't know if they could do that again.
Yeah, A24 is crazy, man. Are like they have to be when it comes to Oscar nominated films, they have to be almost the most reliable now, right? You think of the Moonlight win, you think of Everything Everywhere All at Once now, you think The Whale with Brendan Fraser. They swept every major category this year, right? And then
Amazing.
like just I'm looking back and like Marcel like was a one of like probably a runner up to Pinocchio for best animated feature. They had the X and Pearl this year that don't get recognized by the Academy. Minari from a couple years back. Like they are unbelievable. Like they have to be like, hey, you want to like potentially win an Oscar? You're not going to Netflix. Maybe you're going to Apple TV, right? But just to look at consistency, A24 has been the model of it. They are crazy. They're my favorite studio. They feel like must watch with all of their projects, and they give the opportunity for really unique young filmmakers, right, to do what they want, explore the stories that they want to tell. They kind of empower these filmmakers, and I think this is the best example so far
We
for A24 empowering filmmakers.
they've only been around for like 11 years, 10 years.
Yeah.
We think we should probably like when it's like downtime in Hollywood this year, theaters this year, we should do like an A24 deep dive. Like how on earth have they been on this historic rise over the past 10 years? Because I honestly like I don't even know how A24 really started, but they just like came out of nowhere, out of absolutely nowhere, and just took over the Oscars.
And they're kind of like the cool kids when it comes to
Yes.
movies. They're not controlled like there's such turmoil when you look at like Warner Brothers and what they're struggling with HBO Max and Discovery and like their streaming services. Disney seems like they're hitting a rut with their like their live action remakes, and they are don't know what to do with Star Wars, and the
And
MCU
Pixar.
is kind of at a low right now in terms of popularity. With look at the performance of Quantum Mania, it's and like the streamers are somewhat unreliable. Like they're still gaining their reputations and seeing if they could be Oscar mainstays. A24 is the one that is most reliable, and they're so young. It only bodes well for their future. I can't wait to see what they're going to be coming out with in the next couple of years. And they're going to be at the Academy Awards next year too. Just crazy here.